Hi everyone, I am Mitsiani and I'm here to discuss our Module 7 milestone assignment. So let's begin our journey to the cost of taxation. Here's a scenario that we were given. The government must raise tax revenue to pay for schools, police, etc. To do this, it can either tax groceries or meals at fancy restaurants. Which should it tax? What will make sense to me though is that meals at fancy restaurants should be taxed since it's not as important as groceries. So let's find out from these following graphs. First of all, this graph is a market for groceries and this is without tax. Let's say also that quantity is the number of trips you make to the grocery store. The price of 4 trips is $100 of groceries. We can then compute the consumer surplus by multiplying 0.5 to the price equilibrium of 100 and multiply this again with the number of quantity of 4 trips to the groceries. Producer surplus should be the same amount, $200, as the consumer surplus. Then the total surplus will be $400. Just add both the consumer surplus and producer surplus. Everyone is happy here because there are no revenues. Now here comes the tax of $50. As you can tell from the price of buyers or PB with blue ink or the price of buyers they will pay now has increased of $25. Buyers pay $125 with tax, and then on PS that has the pinkish color or the price on the sellers, $75 is what all they are taking with due to the tax that the sellers have to pay, which is also $25. Now we calculate the new amount of the consumer surplus by multiplying zero point 0.5 to $75, which is a difference of $200, the maximum amount of the price of the groceries, minus the $125 price of buyer's pay equals to $75. Multiply this $75 to 3, which is the new quantity, and then we get $112.50, and producer surplus should be the same also of $112.50. Then we compute the tax revenue. The tax imposed for both the buyers and sellers is $50. Multiply this to the 3, the new quantity, and we get $150. Now we add everything, consumer surplus, producer surplus, and tax revenue, where we get $375. Now there this is concept of deadweight loss. You see it on the yellow highlighted. As you probably already know, this is the fall in total surplus that results from a market distortion, just like this in this case the tax. Now the DWL for this one is 25, and the difference from surplus without tax of 400 of to set $375 with tax. Okay. Now on with the market for meals at fancy restaurants. Again, we will see a graph without the tax. The total surplus here is $4,500. And on this graph, the total surplus is 3,000. Again, you will see the deadweight loss here calculated, and it is $1,500. Now that you have seen both with taxes imposed, which one needs to be taxed? It was indicated that there's really no single right answer. One choice will not be better than the other, but really, which one is to tax, right? One answer could be that the government should tax the goods which the smallest deadweight loss, or DWL. This is if we really have to make a choice. A tax on groceries will be more efficient, smaller DWL, than a tax on restaurant meals, and this depends on the elasticities of supply and demand. For example, a sales tax on food. At the margin, some consumers will purchase less food. Overall, overall food purchases will not decrease significantly because the tax will be spread over a large number of consumers and demand is relatively inelastic. And groceries are more of a necessity and therefore less price elastic than meals at fancy restaurants. So a tax on restaurant meals would cause a larger DWL than a tax on groceries. So you see the difference in elasticity. Market for groceries is inelastic and market for meals at fancy restaurant is elastic. So it turned out to be that the tax really depends on how large is the DWL or deadweight loss on this market and the price elasticity. Hence, tax on groceries has a smaller DWL, and it is inelastic, and so the market for groceries should be taxed. But the argument will be also that the tax on groceries could hurt people with low incomes proportionally more than the people with higher incomes, because the former spend a larger percentage of their income on groceries. Hence, this tax is called regressive. So if there's really a decision to make which one to tax, taxing groceries should be a small amount to sacrifice. Hope you have learned something on your journey to the cost of taxation and have now an idea it would make sense to tax a market. We surely can appreciate the economics of supply and demand, elasticity, and deadweight loss. And so, if you feel like having a meal at a fancy restaurant, enjoy it. But don't forget to do your groceries too, even if they cost a bit because of the taxes. Thank you.